Leah. Let me just see. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what your question is, but let me go over sort of the basics of the assignment for Essay 3. And then if you have any questions, either you can send me an email or we can meet over Zoom. We'll let's hopefully I can explain things thoroughly enough. Okay, so if I go on to the blog here, let me just look at the assignment for a minute, go over that. So this assignment combines two genres. One is a short report, a short informational report, and the other is an annotated bibliography. So an annotated bibliography is a list of sources presented in a certain citation format. In this case, we're using the Modern Language Association's rules, so in MLA format. I refer to that a lot of times if I'm in class as author, title, blah-de-blah, because typically it's the author and last name, comma, first name, period, then the title of the article or the web page or whatever you've got, and then there's some other information depending on what type of source you've got, hence the blah-de-blah. So you've got, for each of the sources, you've got that citation, and then the annotated part of it is that in addition to the citation format, you also have a short paragraph that doesn't fully summarize the source, but gives the reader some information about what type of information is included in the source, and also something about the credibility of the source, the quality of the source. So this situation that I'd like you to envision for this assignment is that, so imagine you have an audience, this is a work situation, say, or and you're wanting to give your readers some information. You've researched it and found some sources. From those sources, you're going to write a short report, about a page and a half or so, maybe 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, something along that line, maybe 500 words, 600 words, something like that. This is an informational report. It doesn't need to be done in essay format with an introduction and a conclusion. You just sort of jump in. Think of a Wikipedia entry or something like that, where you're just getting as much facts as possible in a short form, short amount of space. You should be giving the reader information that they don't already know. So some specifics, the results of studies that have been done on this issue, the expert opinion about it. If there's a controversy about it, you don't need to take a stand yourself, but you might want to define what the two sides or several sides, what they disagree about. So you've got that report, and then it will come first, and then below that you'll have your citation, that is author, title, blah-de-blah, as I say, and then a short paragraph that gives some information about what's in that source. Now, the assignment requires at least 5 sources, but you only need to use 3 of them in your short report. So your short report is a research-based report. You're not writing from your own experience. You're writing using your research. So you want some good quality sources. If say you have the 5 required sources and you use 3 of them for the short report, the other 2 sources should be sources that you're offering to your readers who might want to get some further, deeper, more extensive information about the topic. So 2 of the sources should be in depth. They might be a book, they might be a longish report, they might be an academic journal article, something that's in a little more depth than perhaps the other 3 that you use to write the report. Though all 5 of the sources should be of good quality, not USA Today type stuff, not short little blurby things from the American Psychological Association or something that just has a couple paragraphs. You want some good quality information. So as far as the format of the bibliography itself, a really good way to look at the format is to look at one or more of these student samples. So this is not from related to your topic. So you're choosing your topic from this list, which are topics that I found as I was reading through the book that the author of Good Ancestors mentions, but he doesn't go into a lot of detail about it. And some of them, it covers a range of things. Some are about ecology, some are about business, some are about art, some are about technology. So I tried to cover a range of areas and to pick some researchable topics. Some of these are easier than others, though, in terms of finding good sources. So these robot ones are ones that the same assignment that I gave to classes in the past, but not connected to the Good Ancestor. These were all written for a themed course I did about robots. So if you look at, say, this middle one, horticultural robots. Oh, no, sorry. How about this one? Okay, so this is the final draft. So this is from a few years ago. So this is what the final product looks like. It's a report here, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. This has got specific information that has in-text citations here. So when you use information from the source, whether it's a quote or whether it's information that you got from the source, you want to put the author's last name and a page number if it's a print source. The author's last name, for electronic sources, usually the author's last name is what you'd have there. There are some other sorts of special circumstances in which you'd have to put something different. So I'm not going to go over all of the different possibilities, but in a minute I'll give you a place that you can look to see how to do that, these in-text citations. So you've got this that is tagging each of the bits of information. 1.5 billion people over the age of 65. My student didn't know that. That came from a source. So the source has to be listed here. It's Hudson. And then if you go down to the bottom here, there should be a source that starts with Hudson. So it was this source here where she got that information. Okay, so there's the report. Jumps in, gets into some specifics in the introduction. It's not a general introduction. You won't be talking about yourself. You won't be using the first person. It's fact-based, objective information that you're presenting. So the report comes first, then the work cited. I suggest calling it an annotated bibliography because works cited implies that all of the works are actually cited, that is actually used in the report, and that's may not be the case if you have a couple of extra in-depth ones that you're using in your annotated bibliography, but not using in your report, for your report. So these sources, you can see we've got the source listed, author, Aronson, Louise, period, the title of the article. This was a New York Times article. The date it was published, 14. This is an MLA format, day, month, year. Then the URL. So for each of the sources, there's that. This is the MLA citation format, citation entry, or the citation entry in MLA format, we could say. So each of the sources has that author, title, blah, 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 and then there is as well a short paragraph that doesn't go into any great detail, but has 2 or 3 sentences that talk about what information is in the source. You don't have to fully read the source. If you find a book that you want to use from Amazon, you can, looking at the the back of the book, looking at maybe some reviews of the book, looking if you can see into the pages to see the introduction. That'll give you plenty of information to get those couple of sentences that you're going to use. And then there's information about what's in the source, and then information about why it's a credible, good quality source. These are alphabetized because that makes them quick to find. If somebody is going from the report and trying to find somebody's name, alphabetizing works just as it does in a dictionary to help you quickly find something. So Aronson, Caruso. This one, cheery robots may make creepy companions. That one did not apparently have an author. It was on a, what does it look like? It was on, we can't really see what it was on. It's from a database. I think there may be something missing in that citation. Seems like we're missing what it appeared on. But at any rate, so this one doesn't have an author, so you start the citation with the title. If this source had been used in the report up above, the title would be what you'd have parentheses and then the title of the article. If you have a long title like this one, for the in-text citation, again, that's the citation up here in the text of the report. You are allowed to shorten the title as long as there's only one source that starts that way. So I could just put cheery robots, say, in capitalized as it is here, quotation marks, and then parentheses outside. So she's got a couple more here. So she's got more than the 5 that are required, but you can see the format there. Okay, so I hope that helps with the format of the assignment. Now, if you have want to get information about what the format of the citation is, that author title, etc., or to see how to handle in-text citations if you have some unusual circumstance, if you go to this Purdue, oops, that's not the right, I don't know what happened there. Something must have happened to that link somehow. So the Purdue University's online writing lab, OWL, has a very useful section on citation. Both, there's one for MLA and one for APA, and that's a source that a lot of us English teachers send students to if they have questions. So I can get it easily by searching Purdue, OWL for OWL, MLA, and I'll fix that link so it works. So this is the MLA style guide. They don't need to know where I am. I've got that. Okay, so the navigation here is over on the left margin. So there's some general information. There's information about how to do in-text citations, depending on what type of source you have. Again, for electronic sources, which is what students use about 99.6% of the time, usually the author's last name will suffice, or if there isn't an author, you would use the title. And then, so that's the in-text citation that goes in your sentences, at the end of sentences. And there's some different situations if you happen to be using print sources, which would be the case if you were citing from the Good Ancestors book. But for this essay, probably mostly what people are using are electronic sources. So that's the in-text citation, and then for the work cited at the end, for the annotated bibliography citation format, if you look down here, so this is general format, look down here a little bit, basic format, MLA works cited books, periodicals, electronic sources is what people have mostly. And there's some general information here, and then you scroll down and this is the general format, but it includes a lot of information that may not be available depending on what your source is. So that you have very few sources that are going to have all this author, title, container, etc., etc. Entire website, not very likely. What you've probably got is a page on a website if it's not from a journal or periodical. And so it explains the author. Usually the title of the web page appears in the header, blah, 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 blah. So we've got the author, last name, comma, first name, period, title of the article, capitalized for important words, all words except articles, prepositions, or conjunctions. The website, eHow, is italicized. Then you have the URL. Then it's optional, but I'd encourage you to get in the habit of including an access date, which is the date that you found the source. So if you don't know exactly when that was, make something up that's plausible for the, date range of this course. So sometime in probably early April. April would be abbreviated, the month, so it's a day, month, year. Anytime you've got a date in MLA format with no punctuation there. There are a million little picky details. I don't waste brain cells trying to memorize them all, but you just should think about what you need to be alert to. So what type of source do you have? What order what information is needed for that type of source? What order is it in? What do you put quotation marks around? What do you italicize? Where are there periods? Where are there commas? The URL starts with the www. You don't include HTTP. And then the access date with accessed, and then day, month, year. The months are abbreviated except for May, June, and July. Generally to 3 letters. MAR for March, APR for April. September is SEPT. So September is a 4-letter abbreviation spelled out May, June, and July. 3-letter abbreviations for the other months. And there are some other different types of sources. Now, if you run across an unusual type of source and you don't know how to cite it, what you could do is do a Google search for that type of source, right? MLA citation, YouTube video or something. I think YouTube video is included here, but if some kind of, whatever the format of the source is, or a government publication or whatever it is, do a Google search and then look for a page that comes from an academic library. It'd be nice if it's a well-known college that you've heard of, but any academic library would do. Or if you have an unusual type of source, you could shoot me an email and send me the link and let me have a crack at trying to do the citation. It's not an absolute black and white kind of thing. Some people, there may be some slight disagreements about how to cite given sources. So even 2 members in the English department citing a source might not do it exactly the same. So really the idea in English 101 is to get the general idea of formatting what needs to be cited, formatting that, and then that link between the in-text citation that identifies what the information as you're using it, what source that information came from, and then the work cited. Note that what's in the in-text citation is the first thing, like Lundman or Athlete's Foot would be the 2 in-text citations for those 2 at the top of the page there. So it's the first element in the way that the thing is listed in the works cited. So there's a lot to it. This is just it's a rough draft that's due Sunday. So don't worry if you don't have everything perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect, but do the best you can. And then if you have any specific questions about sources, specific sources, you can let me know. Or if you're completely lost, with, you know, what I've been talking about here, and you think you really need to sit down over a Zoom, over a screen, and have us talk through some of the things, let me know, and we'll try to set up a time. It's this weekend is a little busy for me. I celebrate Greek Easter, which is Sunday, so I've got, but I probably could squeeze in something. See, today is Wednesday. Maybe sometime late afternoon tomorrow on Thursday, or early morning Friday, or later in the day on Friday. So anyway, let me know. I hope this helps. I'm going to stop this, turn it into a YouTube video, and I'll send you the link shortly.